Hey, it's Tburrier from Tburrier.com. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about what do you do when you're really trying to accomplish something that's really hard and you feel like quitting. As a reformed quitter, meaning someone who quit a lot of stuff when I was younger, a lot of that had to do with my own self belief and self worth issues, but that's a whole separate thing. I've learned a couple of things that might be of value to you relative to this. So the first thing to recognize is it's normal to feel like quitting, right? I once heard it said that if you don't feel like quitting, you're probably not trying hard enough. And it's so true, right? So typically you only feel like quitting and it matters, right? There's plenty of things that you might be doing, or you do that, if you feel like quitting, it doesn't matter. It's not a thing. It's not that important. But when it's something important, something you really want to change or something you really want to accomplish, then that's where, man, you can't quit, right? The old quitters never win thing, that's real, right? It's a real thing. So what do you do, right? How do you deal with it? Because it's hard, right? It's deep, right? It's a really deep feeling. And so recognize that you only feel like quitting because you've pushed yourself to a place, right? You've pushed yourself to a place that's difficult to get by. You might be fatigued. You might be at a place where you don't know what the next step is, or maybe you've been spinning in place, right? There's all kinds of things. But the bottom line is it means you care, which means quitting isn't a good thing, right? So let me give you some mindset things, some things to consider that can help you when you get to this place. Because, getting to a place where you won't quit, wow, that's a magical place to get in life. And this isn't trite to say, but it really isn't about how smart you are in life. It's about how hard you're willing to just push, because everybody struggles, everybody has difficulties, everybody has weaknesses, everybody falls down a lot. And the people who really accomplish things are just the ones who refuse to quit and keep going. That's really all it is. Life is relatively simple when you boil it down. So multiple things. One is remember why you started. When you get to that place where you're like, I don't think I can do it anymore. I don't think I can take this anymore. I can't, whatever that is, remember why you started. Because if it's important to you, then there is some kind of pain or some kind of struggle or some kind of significant problem you're trying to solve, or a significant goal that addresses those things that you're trying to accomplish. And so you got to go back, take yourself back to where you started, right? Because if you think about it like this, it's easy to say, I'm going to do this and then start, right? Well, for some people it's not, but for people who get it, right? Once you get to the place you recognize it, if it's going to be, it's up to me, right? That's a real thing too. Then, that when you undertake something to accomplish something that, you really like the way it looks like it's going to be, it's a little romanticized, right? You're envisioning what it's going to be like to be there, to have this thing, to have accomplished this thing, to reach this status, whatever it is. And, then you start doing it, and then, right, the real stuff kicks in. And nothing is just, right, the rose has thorns, right? So, I once heard it said the commitment is doing the thing you said you would do long after that feeling that you set it in is gone, because now you're dealing with the day-to-day of it. So you got to go back and remember why you started, right? Because that's a little bit of a renewal. The next thing you got to do is sometimes just walk away for a little bit. Maybe it's a break for an hour, or maybe it's a break for a week. It depends on the context, right? But it's okay to take a break. It's just not okay to stop completely. Because sometimes you are fatigued, or sometimes there are things that are pressing in on you that have to be addressed that don't allow you to show up the right way for a short period of time. This can't be an enduring excuse, but it can be a short-term thing. I remember when I was doing my MBA class many years ago, I was taking a MBA level statistics class, and man, it was brutal. It was so hard. Stats were always hard for me. Math was not hard, but stats were. I don't know why. Go figure, right? The way the brain works. Econ was easy for me, but stats were brutal. And it once took me 6 hours to get the answer to one question. 6 hours. The amount of times I just walked away and came back, walked away and came back. You know what? I could have not answered that question, and I got an A in the class. I still would have been fine. But I didn't accept that because I would have known that I quit. And that's not acceptable, right? You don't want to be known that way to yourself. That's a bad reputation to have with yourself. So just take a break and come back, regroup. Next is consider the alternatives, right? If you don't do this thing that you're trying to accomplish, if you don't make this change, is that acceptable? If the answer is no, you make it not optional. I mean, again, I'm giving you all different things you can use that I use for myself, right? Consider future regret. This is a big deal, right? That the old adage that the pain of discipline weighs ounces and the pain of regret weighs tons is a real thing, right? And you typically don't regret stuff you tried in your life that didn't work out. That doesn't mean that doesn't happen. There are times that happens, but it's not as a normal rule. What you regret in life is the thing you didn't do, the thing you didn't try. And so consider that. You don't want to live with a lifelong regret of knowing you could have actually done something had you stuck it through, you had a little more guts, you had a little more fortitude. Man, your future self is not going to take that very well. And then your future self is going to live with that. And that's not worth it. It's worth the pain of doing it than dealing with that later. And then next, recognize this. Whenever you're in that space and you have that feeling like, oh my gosh, this isn't so hard for me right now, or I just can't see it change, or I can't, man, and I know what this is like because, man, I've been there so many different times in business ventures and things I was working on where I felt like I feel like I've been in this same spot for days and days and days and days, even though I'm running as fast as I can. This is where learning is happening. This is where growth is happening. This is such an important area that you're in right now. And so if you stay in it, man, it's awesome what it does for you, right? Think about it like this. Difficulties in life only reveal who you are right now. They don't reveal who you want to be or who you think you are or who you're studying to be, right? They reveal who you are right now. And the only way you get to the place where you are amazing in difficult times is to have gone through them. That's it. That's the only way. And so recognize that's what's happening right now. This is the gravy that you're actually getting in this time when you feel like quitting. So the sixth thing that I wanted to share is think about who you're doing it for, and this is real. This was always important for me because I'm a simple guy. I don't need much. And so and most every one of my goals, I cast way beyond what I wanted and made it about the people I love, the people I care about, the people that I have commitments to, right? And so I made it much bigger than myself. And then that helped me keep going. And then the last one is think about who's watching, right? Who are you exempling to? Who around you knows you're trying to do something? Man, your credibility is all you have. It really is. That's the trust in you as a human being. And when you push through things that are hard and you accomplish things that people realize are challenging and require going through struggle, wow, not only is that inspiring to them, but what it does for your credibility with other people is magnificent. So those things, any one of those things can carry you for a while. So I hope you took that to heart. Maybe you need to watch this again and take notes if you didn't. But if you're trying to accomplish something that really matters to you, quitting is not an option. And so you need little things, little tethers you can grab onto, and that's what I hope I provided here for you. So hopefully that's helpful. If you need some coaching along the way, feel free to reach out to me. It's one of my favorite things to do is help others do better. And that's usually what happens with people who are trying to accomplish something who use coaches. So anyway, hope this was great for you, and good luck to you going forward.